Hi everyone, welcome to Double Bill Movies. I'm Trevor, and today's episode is going to be one of my double bill movies, and that is an original and a remake. And today's original is from the 1940s, and it is Shop Around the Corner. Now I sat and watched this with my wife, which was really nice. We both really enjoyed it. It stars Margaret Sullivan and James Stewart. This is from the H&B Premium Collection. I'll show you it in a minute. But so it's set in Budapest, and even though it was filmed in the US, the first thing I noticed was how amazing the sets were, and the detail, even the cobbled street. But one of the scenes later on in the film, the lighting was so good that the painted backdrop that was supposed to depict another street going off in the distance really looked like a street going off in the distance. Anyway, so yeah, the sets and just the attention to detail is really impressive, Okay, so the fact the film was made in 1940, it's kind of crazy to think that the world was at war. But as we know, America had not yet entered the war and didn't do so until December 1941. So they still had over a year of normal life to go before they got roped into all the chaos and everything. Yeah, so the film basically follows a shop owner and his staff, and the leading salesman, played by James Stewart. You know, he's often being invited around to the boss's house, and so he clearly thinks a lot of his employee. But this young woman comes in later on and basically begs for a job, and she kind of forces herself into the role of a salesperson on a customer, and manages to sell some items to this lady. So anyway, she ends up with a job in the shop, and this is Margaret Sullivan's character, basically starts bickering with James Stewart's character, but the two of them, unbeknownst to each other, are writing letters, and within the letters they're really in love with the person that's writing to them, and obviously it ends up that they're writing the letters to each other. Now there is a second sort of story going on. The man who owns the shop, his wife is not behaving, and so he's getting more and more stressed, and you know, it makes for some sort of unpleasant atmosphere in the shop. So him and James Stewart's character get to arguing, and he ends up, James Stewart's character ends up leaving the shop. They come to sort of a mutual agreement that things are not working out, and clearly fallen out of favour with him, and but the rest of the staff are gutted and can't understand what's happened. So it gets to the famous scene where they're all supposed to be staying late to dress one of the windows, but the young female who sort of barged her way into the shop and got the job, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the characters' names, which is a bit silly of me, but she has a date. She's finally going to meet this person that has been writing the letters to her, that she's been corresponding with, and she really needs the time off. Anyway, things happen. She ends up getting to go, and she's got to go to a cafe with a book and a rose. And then likewise, James Stewart's character is also going to meet the person he's writing to, which obviously we know is her. And, but the scene plays out. He's with a work colleague, and he gets the colleague to look in the cafe to see if this woman's there with a book and flower, and she is, and he sort of says, oh well, if you don't like, really should have written down the character names, but if you don't like the woman at work, then you won't like this woman. And he says, why? He says, well, because it is her. Anyway, so he kind of goes in knowing this, but he also knows that she's not going to like him because they don't get on at work. So this whole thing plays out, and she insults him in such a brilliant way. But she obviously has no idea that he's actually her date. Yeah, the film goes on, and of course the inevitable happens and things work out, and it's great. It's a lovely film. Yeah, obviously there is a gradual realization. It's not like sudden. The way it plays out is really quite romantic. Actually, it's quite nice. So definitely recommended if you like old black and white films, and you perhaps you like the old romantic films, and or if you and your partner want to sit and watch a nice romantic film, especially tomorrow, Valentine's Day, I definitely recommend this one. It's really good, and it's just lovely and heartwarming. So now let me just quickly open this up for you and show you what's in there. So there's the disc, and we have some art cards here. I haven't opened these yet, but we all know what art cards look like. And there is also a poster. And I like these old posters. I really like the style of art used for them, and mostly for my World War II films that I like. But these especially, there you go. That's very nice. And there's also there's the three main characters. That's obviously the young lady. There's James Stewart, and that's the guy who owns the shop. Anyway, so as I mentioned, this is an original, and there is a remake, and you may be thinking, I don't know of any modern film called The Shop Around the Corner. Because it's not called The Shop Around the Corner. It is, if I can get this in focus, You've Got Mail. Why does that not show up very well? It's a bit bright on screen, isn't it? Let me turn the brightness down on this. There we go. You've Got Mail, starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. This film is from 1998, and it's much longer than Shop Around the Corner. Shop Around the Corner is about 90 minutes, but You've Got Mail is 2 hours, and my wife and I sat and watched it last night. She hadn't seen either of them. I'd seen You've Got Mail, but she definitely hadn't. So yeah, it was nice for both of us to sit and watch it, and I'd forgotten most of it anyway. It'd been many years since I'd seen it. I think it's one I got to see, as it's a Warner Brothers title. They're both Warner Brothers, actually. I think it's one I got to see at my old job at Testronic, which I will talk more about in another video. So yeah, it's the dawn of email, and you know, I don't know if this was you guys in America will be able to tell me. I guess it's the early form of AOL. And when they would log on and they'd click on their emails, a voice would say, "You've got mail," hence the title. So it was a really nice way to bring it up to modern day. And you know, and even now, yes, it's a little bit dated because clearly everything has moved on far beyond the early forms of email and the laptops that they use in the movie. But the way they connect it to the shop around the corner is Meg Ryan's character owns a shop called the Shop Around the Corner. And Tom Hanks, his character, Mr. Fox, I can't remember his first name. What? Joe. That's right. Right, my wife just told me. Joe Fox. There we go. Ah, dear. So Joe Fox and his father, and they're just about to open a massive bookstore, which basically takes up a whole block. Now, it's reminiscent of a big, massive bookstore in Portland, Oregon called Powell's Books, which I've been to on a couple of occasions, and is an amazing shop. But this is all modern, it's all plush, and basically they come across each other, and they hate each other because Meg Ryan's character knows that she's going to be put out of business, and this, that and the other. But of course they have been emailing each other without knowing, so the same sort of scenario happens. So it's more drawn out, and it's more of a fleshed out story, hence it being much longer. I don't think it gets to the point where it's boring, but having watched Shop Around the Corner and sort of the daintiness of that, and the pace in which it moved, actually, those old films, the dialogue is spoken very quickly. I imagine it's very much like what Broadway in America would be like when they go to the theatre, and how the delivery of the lines are on stage. Excuse me, oh dear. So yeah, of course the famous cafe scene. Now in this You've Got Mail film, it's the first point in which the two films really sort of copy each other. Or You've Got Mail actually copies The Shop Around the Corner. And actually Dave Chappelle, the brilliant comedian, is in the film, and he's sort of Tom Hanks's assistant in the big bookstore, sort of a business partner kind of thing. And so he's the colleague that goes along with Joe Fox to the cafe, and he's the one that, you know, he looks in the window and, oh, I can't see her yet because there's a waiter in the way, and this, that and the other. And so it plays out the same way, but I don't think the insult is different. I'm guessing they didn't want to copy it verbatim, which is great. Obviously they haven't copied the rest of the film verbatim, so why not do it in a new way? And but it didn't play out quite as well as I thought the Shop Around the Corner version did. There's, maybe I've got this, I like these old 30s, 40s and 50s movies, and as I've mentioned before in other videos, there's a kind of a romance to them. Not a soppy romance, not lovey-dovey romance, but there's a sort of a magical old style of movie that's just very apparent, obviously, and maybe that's what's winning me over on the older film. Don't get me wrong, You've Got Mail is a very good film, and again, if you don't want to watch an old black and white one, but you want to watch a similar story and see how it pans out, It's on Amazon Prime UK, and it's, you know, it's part of Prime, so you don't have to rent or buy it or anything. But let's see what else we got. So yeah, the cafe scene is the first bit that's copied. So because the shop owner of the shop around the corner in the original film is having marital problems, it seems that they went a lot further with that in You've Got Mail, and everyone's breaking up in relationships and this, that and the other. And the father, the Mr. Fox Senior, or whatever his name is, it's quite a weird sort of triangle of things that goes on in there. And there's quite a funny scene of him and Tom Hanks on the boat, and yeah, it's quite funny. I thought the ending, the way it all sort of pans out, the realization, done differently again to the shop around the corner, and of course they're in New York. This You've Got Mail is based in New York, but yeah, so it's done differently, but again, it's really nice. So yeah, I recommend both films. Maybe you don't have to watch them back to back like kind of my wife and I have, but you know, at different times. I think you will enjoy them. If you like, it's not soppy. It's not soppy or romantic love stuff. It's actually a nicely written story, and well delivered in both films. But my wife, I asked her thoughts on it, and she pointed out that, so in The Shop Around the Corner, James Stewart is the lead, and that's it. Yes, you know, what's her name, Margaret Sullivan, you know, she's the female lead, but she still doesn't really have lead status. And of course it wouldn't have done back then, you know, unless it's a female cast, and all, you know, the leading ladies are not going to be leads as such, are they? But yeah, obviously, as you pointed out, the You've Got Mail from 1998, both Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks have pretty much equal lead status. They're both carrying the story in their own way, and you know, it's a sign of the times that things have moved on, and in a good way. It's you know, it's a good thing. I asked her which one she preferred best, and she couldn't choose. So if that's any reference for you as to which one you think you should go for, my choice, I would say go with Shop Around the Corner, because I think I just slightly preferred it more. But oh, what's happened there? Never mind, I just lost it, so I can't show you anymore. But anyway, there you go, another episode, a proper double bill movie, or movie double bill. And yeah, so please like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you know when I put up another video. And take care, and I'll see you soon. Take it easy.